Hey guys, welcome back to Deadman1010 and welcome back to LEGO Harry Potter years 5 to 7. This is another showcase video, and on the last episode we took a look at Harry James Potter, and now we are taking a look at Hermione Jean Granger. And here she is. This is one of her, well, attires. This is taken from the Deathly Hallows Part 1, and yeah. It's pretty nice. It's very much accurate to how she would have been, you know, in that film, in the climactic showdown of Hogwarts. And yeah, it looks very, very great. But that's not all she comes with. She also has a bunch of others, which we are going to be going to the Leaky Cauldron for. There we go. And here we go. Come on. There we go. So the first version is just a regular Gryffindor robes. And in terms of magic and everything that she has Reducto. She has Wingardium Leviosa. Of course, she has that her famous word. She has a famous word to Ron Weasley where she says, well, she says it's not Leviosa. It's not Leviosa. It's Leviosa. I think that's what she says to Ron Weasley. As well as a bunch of funny things also. And that's of course in the first movie, Philosopher's Stone, which we will get to information about her and that movie in a bizzle. So yeah, she has that. She has a cat Crookshanks as a green ability. So there you go. So Crookshanks can naturally dig because I believe, yeah, because it's obviously a cat. And then she has the what was that spell called? Defendu. She has that. She has Luminous Salom, which is basically the light up spell. So there you go. And then she has the Aquamenti spell, where she can spray water. And she has the Expecto Patronum spell. And then back to Reducto we go. There's a jumping, and that's all I can really say for that. Now we're going to move on to, well, the other attires that she has. So, here we go. So we have Hermione in a grey coat. So that's sort of her winter outfit, kind of, but also not. So that's a winter outfit. And then this is her in ministry attire, when her, Ron and Harry are getting chased out the ministry. And she has a different stand. So she also has other things as well, as in other poses, which you will see in a minute. There you go, that's a running animation there. So as you can see, she's a bit fearful of her life. And then she has the more disguised version of when she's in the Ministry of Magic area. She is disguised as M'Enferader, which is this character over here. Oh no, this is the pink dress, my bad. We'll get to that in a minute. There we go. Which is this one right here. So that's what she looks like here. So that's her disguise. A bit like Harry. Naturally. Because Harry and Hermione and Ron both all went into the Ministry of Magic area. Or of Magic area. Now we have Hermione Gringotts, which is her trying to disguise herself as Bellatrix Lestrange. But here it mostly just looks like a normal black dress, which looks nice, honestly. I like it. So that's when Harry, her and Ron break into Gringotts in the second Deathly Hallows movie, Deathly Hallows Part 2. In terms of when they break into the Ministry, however, I think that's in Deathly Hallows Part 1. So yeah, that's what these two attires are taken from. As well as this one, the grey coat one. Now we have the cardigan version. Which I don't really know which one this one's really taken from, to be honest. So there you go. It looks nice, but I just don't know where it's taken from, simple as. And then we have the red dress, which is when she attends Bill Weasley's wedding, one of Ron's family members. So as you can see, it looks very, very nice. So there you go. And then we have Hermione in a jumper. So yeah, that's taken from the Order of the Phoenix movie. That's what this one's taken from. When Harry and her are taking care of Umbridge in the Forbidden Forest. That's what happens there. And then we have Hermione with a scarf. So that's her more winter outfit, really. So there you go. Or there you go. And this is of course taken from the Order of the Phoenix, when her, Ron and Harry are rounding up all the children in order to fight Voldemort. So that's what that one's taken from. And then we have Hermione ball gown, and of course this one's taken from the Goblet of Fire. Pretty much just repackaged here. So it looks very, very nice, as you can see. And they used the skirt piece as well for the legs. So there you go. Looks very, very nice. All the abilities are the same, by the way, for every single Hermione. So she has all the same spells and whatnot. And then we have her in a pink dress, which is when she attends Slughorn's party. I think it is, anyway. And yeah, so that's when she attends Slughorn's party, along with Harry, Ginny, and a bunch of the other kids. So I believe that's where this one's taken from, as far as I know. I could be wrong, obviously. Even though I might be wrong, to be fair. But that's what I believe it's taken from. So, yeah, that's where this version comes from. So there you go. And that, I believe, is all the versions of, well, Hermione. So, yeah, information about Hermione, of course, she's basically a muggle, so calling her a mudblood would be basically offending her, as Draco naturally knew when she called her a mudblood. And And basically how her story started out was basically she got on the train of Hogwarts. She met Ron and Harry, who she would I can't even speak words now, eventually be best friends with. And then after that, they would obviously go into Hogwarts, get sorted into Gryffindor, all of them, Hermione, Ron, and Harry. And then they would slowly become friends during the first movie. And then in Chamber of Secrets, she basically becomes the centerpiece of it, being petrified, and then Ron and Harry basically coming to save her along with Ginny as well later on. That's what Harry has to do when he approaches Tom Riddle, who is later known as Voldemort. And then after that, Prisoner of Azkaban rolls around, and Hermione's basically got to team up with the one and only Harry Potter himself to basically save Sirius, I can't even speak words now, Sirius Black, who is Harry's godfather, who basically gets framed for a crime that he never committed by Wormtail, aka Peter Pettigrew, one of his closest friends, before he portrayed Lily Potter and James Potter, Harry Potter's parents. So he basically portrays them, and then basically gives it up their location, being the Seeker or whatever he's called that he's supposed to be, and therefore Voldemort gets the opportunity to kill Lily and James when Harry was 1 year old. And basically there was basically a prophecy of either Neville's parents getting killed or Harry's, and then eventually and ultimately it became Harry's. And then basically after that, Neville's parents still got killed anyway, just not by Voldemort, just by Bellatrix Lestrange. So basically after that, Goblet of Fire rolled around, and she was preparing Harry for the Triwizard Tournament that he was not supposed to be in because he was underage, but he didn't put himself in there, apparently. So it became a mystery, and then in the end it was Barty Crouch Jr. who put his name in the Goblet of Fire, and basically he was disguised as Mad-Eye Moody for the entire film. And based on that, he naturally put Harry in the Goblet of Fire, and then later Harry would face Voldemort face to face for the first time in 13 or 14 years since the horrific event when he was 1 year old. So yeah, Hermione gets him ready basically for that, and such things of that nature. And then what basically, oh, and also during the movie as well, she ends up going to the Yule Ball, which obviously you saw the Yule Ball dress there, and she ends up taking Victor Crumb with her. Basically it was kind of a date thing, I would say, and I think Victor Crumb is supposed to be like Bulgarian or something, so yeah, so Hermione dates him and takes him to the ball, the Yule Ball, in Goblet of Fire, and they dance it out, but she doesn't exactly have the greatest ending to her night after Ron getting jealous and acting up on Hermione, and then Harry kind of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and of course Ron and Harry also went to the Yule Ball with their respective gals. Not that they were who they wanted to go to the ball, because Harry asked Cho Chang out, and then Ron wanted Hermione, but none of them got what they wanted. So yeah, sucks to be them, guys. Oops, I wasn't meant to do that. My bad. There we go. But yeah, sucks to be them, guys. I wasn't meant to drop my controller. My bad, guys. But yeah, so that happens, and then basically what occurs next is basically what happens is obviously in the next movie, Order of the Phoenix, not a whole lot happens with really, other than the fact that obviously she's been growing up and all this other stuff. And then when the Half-Blood Prince rolls around, it's basically the start of Harry and Ron's and Hermione's journey to collect the Horcruxes. So they're doing that, and then basically in the Deathly Hallows Part 1, that's where things really kick in, and basically Hermione teams up with Ron and Harry and basically tries to find the Horcruxes, and they basically stay in a tent, and yeah, that basically is what occurs. And yes, that basically is what happens. And then in the Deathly Hallows Part 2, she finally gets together with Ron, and also I can't remember whether it was the Half-Blood Prince or the Deathly Hallows Part 1, but one of those movies, she basically ended up dating Ron in the end when Ron lived up to what he was going to do in Goblet of Fire but never ended up doing, and that was asking Hermione out to Bill Weasley's wedding that just so happens to be one of his siblings. So yeah, so Hermione and Ron basically kind of start dating during that time after, kind of, and then after that, Victor Crumb kind of goes all a little salty and basically says to Harry, "Are them two together?" And Harry's all like, "Yeah, it looks that way." So yeah, Victor Crumb is all salty about that. And then in Deathly Hallows Part 2, basically what occurs is basically she's still teaming with Ron and Hermione. Well, Ron and Harry, Hermione is, to collect the Horcruxes, and eventually that culminates in Ron and Hermione ultimately getting together as a couple. And yeah, that basically happens, and then Hermione and Ron basically, obviously, defeat Voldemort along with Harry Potter, who was, well, obviously defeating Voldemort ultimately, but they helped out naturally, because obviously the three of them have an unbreakable bond. So basically that happens, and then Hermione and Ron go on to basically have kids of their own, along with Harry and Ginny, who they would ultimately date as well, as in Harry and Ginny would also date as well. So they basically have kids of their own as well. So they basically send all of their kids off to Hogwarts, and that basically is really the happy ending for, well, Hermione Granger, really. But also something that did occur in the in the Deathly Hallows Part 1 was where Hermione basically had the Gryffindor sword, and she had a run-in with Bellatrix that did not go very well for her. And yeah, basically yeah, it was all about the Gryffindor sword, and then I don't think Bellatrix eventually got it in the end, but she did end up throwing a knife, and it ended up harming Dobby and then later killing him. So yeah, that's also what occurred. But anyway, guys, if you guys enjoyed this episode, then like, comment, subscribe, share the videos. If we could get out to 60 likes, that'd be great. And yeah, ciao guys.